Hi, I'm Paul Carroll and welcome to this Cameracraft video tutorial on using Home Studio Flash, where we're going to be creating some interesting lighting effects to capture a classic still life shot. Studio Flash can suffer from a stigma that it's difficult to use, but it's not really, and we'll show you just how easy it is. Everything we're doing today you can replicate at home. We've got just a few simple props, and we're going to be using the camera's LCD screen and the image histogram to check our lighting setup as we go. Basic Studio Flash kits can actually be cheaper than a top-end flash gun, and including two heads, two light stands, and either two umbrellas or softboxes like this one, they're very versatile. What's more, the flash head will kick out a lot more power, and that'll allow you to use smaller apertures for a better depth of field, and it's possible to mould the light using accessories like this snoot too. Now we're going to use this flash head with the softbox attached for some nice balanced side lighting, and this will also create some lovely reflections in our glass too. We're then going to use this flash head on our background, and by attaching a snoot we can create a spotlight effect which is really going to make our glass stand out from the background. Now we've got ourselves a grey backdrop, but you could simply use a neutral coloured wall at home, and our still life glass has been set up a good few feet in front of the background. Now we're going to control the exposure using the power and the position of our lights. So the camera's exposure values have been preset, and we're using ISO 100, that's going to give us good image quality. A shutter speed of 250th of a sec, that's this camera's fastest flash sync speed. And we've got a lens aperture of f16, and that's going to give us great sharpness. I'm going to pour the wine in on the left of the glass here. So I need to position this flash head on the right at about a 45-degree angle. And that's going to mean that the light falls nicely on the side of my glass and creates a couple of lovely reflections. Now I'm also going to use this brown bit of card as a flag, and what that's going to do is it's going to stop any spill from this flash head falling on my background. Now I need to connect the flash to the camera, and I can do that using this sync lead. Now the larger jack goes into the flash head, with this smaller connection going into the camera's PC sync socket, which is here. Now if your camera doesn't have a PC sync socket, you're going to need an adapter like this, which has got a socket for the sync lead, and then it just slides onto the camera's hot shoe. Now I need to set the flash power output. Now on this flash head it ranges from 0 to 60, and as we're using a small f16 lens aperture, I want to set it to the maximum power of 60. Now as I increase the power, notice how the modelling light increases too. Okay, so I'm at full power. I'm going to take a quick test shot to see what the exposure on my glass looks like. Even with our flash head set to the full power, the exposure on our glass is still looking a little too dark. We can't increase the power, but the advantage of Studio Flash is we can move the head closer, which is going to improve the brightness. So if I just move it in a few inches and take another test shot, there we go, the exposure now looks much better, and those reflections in the glass are really standing out too. Okay, now it's time to set up our background light, and we're going to be using this snoot and the modelling light to position our spot behind our still life glass. Now Home Studio Flash kits don't come with one of these, a snoot as standard, but it's worth investing in one, particularly for still life shots, or if you're into portraiture, because they're great to use as a hair light. Okay, so with the flash attached, I just need to set the output setting to the maximum power again. There's no need to connect this second flash to the camera because it has a built-in optical sensor. Now the optical sensor means that the second flash can act as a slave and will fire in sync with our master flash as soon as the sensor detects a burst of light. Okay, so with this flash head set up to light our background, time to go back round to the back of the camera and take another test shot. The background exposure is looking good, with that bright spotlight separating the glass from the backdrop. But let's bring up the image histogram to ensure we're not blowing out any of the highlights. This exposure looks fine, but if there is any burnout, just reduce the power and shoot again. Okay, time to introduce the wine. Well, we're not actually using wine, no point wasting the good stuff, so I've got myself some black currant juice here. My assistant is going to help me take the shot as I pour, So let's get into position. On 3, Mike, you ready?
I'm ready, Paul.
1, 2, 3. Perfect, we've nailed it. And that side lighting has ensured some lovely highlights in the wine too. So there we go. I bet you thought using Studio Flash would be more difficult than that, didn't you? Well, it really is that easy. By using the camera's LCD screen and checking the lighting, and then adjusting the position and the power of the flash head to control our exposure, fantastic effects can be achieved. I hope you've really enjoyed this month's Cameracraft tutorial, and I'll see you next month for another instalment.